Come, take a moment and slow down with me. Not to study. Not to memorize anything. Just to listen. Let me tell you a story. William Shakespeare was born in the year 1564 in a small English town called Stratford-upon-Avon. It was not a famous town, not a powerful place, and not one that promised greatness. It had narrow muddy roads, wooden houses leaning toward one another, open markets filled with noise, and a quiet river flowing nearby. Life there was simple, sometimes hard, and often uncertain. His father, John Shakespeare, was a glove maker. He worked with leather and sold his goods in the town market. For some years the family lived comfortably. They were respected. People greeted John with warmth. But comfort does not stay forever. Slowly, business began to fall. Debts appeared. The respect faded. The house grew quieter. William watched all of this as a child. He saw how success can rise and how quickly it can disappear. He learned early that life does not remain stable for long. William went to the local grammar school. The school was strict and demanding. Students spent long hours memorizing Latin texts, Roman plays, poetry, and speeches. Many children found it tiring, but William felt something different. He was drawn to words. He listened not only to their meaning, but to their sound. He noticed how anger made sentences sharp, how love softened language, how fear shortened speech, and how pride made people speak more than necessary. He began to understand that words were not just tools for communication, they were mirrors of the human heart. At home, he would quietly repeat lines aloud. He enjoyed the rhythm of sentences and the emotion hidden inside them. No one around him thought he was special. He was not known as a genius. He was simply a boy who listened carefully. Life moved quickly. At the age of 18, William married Anne Hathaway, a woman older than him. Soon, they had children. Responsibility came early. There was no time for dreams or imagination. Food had to be placed on the table. Money had to be earned. The young man who loved words now faced the weight of adulthood. These years are known as his lost years, because history cannot clearly tell us what he did. Some believe he worked as a teacher. Some say he helped his father. Others think he traveled with theatre groups. What we do know is this: success did not arrive suddenly. There was no magical moment when life changed overnight. There were years of confusion, struggle, and searching. Then, sometime in his 20s, William made a decision that would change everything. He left Stratford and travelled to London. It was a risky journey. There were no guarantees. London was loud, crowded, dangerous, and competitive. Disease spread easily. Crime was common. Yet London had something Stratford did not: theatres. Theatres were coming alive across the city. They were open-air buildings filled with noise, laughter, arguments, music, and emotion. Actors were not highly respected in those days. Many people believed theatre was immoral. But inside those wooden walls, stories were being born. William started from the bottom. He did not walk in as a celebrated writer. He worked behind the scenes. He helped rewrite scripts. He acted small roles. He corrected dialogue. Slowly, people noticed something unusual. When he touched a script, it improved. The characters felt more real. The emotions felt deeper. The language felt alive. He did not write about perfect heroes. He wrote about human beings, confused, emotional, ambitious, loving, jealous, fearful human beings. His early plays found success. Crowds gathered. Theatre owners began trusting him. But he was not satisfied. He wanted to understand people more deeply. He began asking difficult questions. Why does power change people? Why do good men fall? Why does jealousy destroy love? Why do people hurt the ones they care about the most? These questions shaped his greatest works. He wrote about a prince named Hamlet who thought too much and acted too little, showing the danger of being trapped inside one's own mind. He wrote about Macbeth, a brave man whose ambition pushed him toward cruelty, reminding the world that unchecked desire can turn heroes into monsters. He wrote about Othello, a noble man destroyed by jealousy and lies, showing how doubt planted by others can poison even the strongest love. He wrote about King Lear, An aging ruler who mistook flattering words for true devotion and learned too late that love is proven through actions, not speech. But Shakespeare was not only interested in sorrow. He understood laughter as well. He wrote stories filled with mistaken identities, clever women, foolish men, and love that arrived unexpectedly. His comedies reminded people that life is confusing, and sometimes laughter is the only way to survive it. Alongside his plays, he wrote sonnets, short poems filled with deep emotion. He wrote about love, beauty, time, youth, loss, and death. He feared how time destroys everything, and yet he believed that words could fight against it. He believed that poetry could make moments live forever. Fame eventually came. His plays were performed before Queen Elizabeth herself. His theatre, the Globe, stood proudly beside the River Thames. Crowds filled the seats. His name became known across England. Yet his life was not free from pain. Theatres were often closed because of deadly plagues. Friends and fellow actors died young. And the deepest wound came when his son Hamnet died at the age of 11. After that loss, something changed in his writing. His stories grew darker, heavier, and more reflective. Grief entered his words. He did not escape pain, he transformed it into art. In his later years, William returned to Stratford. He had earned wealth now, something his childhood never promised. But he was tired. He had spent decades turning human emotion into language. He lived quietly with his family and wrote less. In 1616, at the age of 52, he died. There was no grand farewell. No worldwide mourning. Just a man laid to rest in his hometown. And yet, he never truly left. Because what he gave the world was not just plays and poems. He gave understanding. He showed that our emotions are not weaknesses. That ambition must be guided by values. That love requires trust. That power reveals character. That language can carry the soul of humanity across centuries. He proved that your beginning does not decide your ending. That greatness can rise from ordinary places. That observing people carefully can teach more than any classroom. That pain, when expressed honestly, can become something meaningful. 400 years have passed, yet people still recognize themselves in his characters. We still fall in love the way his lovers did. We still struggle with ambition, jealousy, pride, fear, and forgiveness. Humanity has not changed, and that is why his words still live. William Shakespeare never knew he would become Shakespeare. He simply listened. He observed. He wrote truthfully. And as long as human beings continue to feel, question, love, and dream, his voice will continue to whisper through time.